When the first lockdown was imposed in 2020, the situation was unprecedented. Many did not have sufficient supplies of groceries, medicines, life-saving drugs or other essentials. That's when 33-year-old Sheikh Aadil Mushtaq, a 2015 batch Jammu and Kashmir Police Service officer currently posted as Deputy Superintendent of Police Traffic in Srinagar, and his friends came up with the idea of helping and delivering essentials and medicines to doorstep of needy residents. Deputy Superintendent of Police Sheikh Aadil and his friends went above the call of duty and delivered daily essentials and medicines to over 1,000 households in Srinagar, Anantnag, Baramulla, Bandipora and Ganderbal. Deputy Superintendent of Police Sheikh Aadil even coordinated efforts to collect blood plasma from patients who recovered from COVID-19 and supplied free oxygen concentrators to families whose loved ones were battling with the virus. So far, he has managed to get over 150 recovered patients to voluntarily donate their blood plasma. Citizens of India could not be more proud of the superhero from Kashmir Valley who went above and beyond for the welfare of our countrymen. His story shines as a great example for our country's youth. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
As we welcome DSP Sheikh Aadil, you and your friends have delivered daily essentials and medicines to over 1,000 households in Srinagar, Anantnag, Baramulla, Bandipora and Ganderbal. The first question I want to ask you, along with Abhishek Sheikh Mushtaq, DSP of Jammu and Kashmir, what made you decide to go above the requirements of the police force and do this?
Thank you, Rhythm ma'am. And Abhishek ji, aapka bhi bahut bahut shukriya. One thing, there's a small correction that I would like to make. That once Abhishek ji was giving my introduction, he introduced me as Deputy DSP Traffic Srinagar. This was the portfolio I was holding back then. Currently, I am holding the portfolio of Deputy DSP Anti-Hijacking Srinagar Airport. So coming back to your question that you are asking, that what made me, do whatever little we could do in those times of crisis. I'm actually, I had newly joined at that place of posting. I had newly joined as Deputy DSP Traffic. And the moment I joined there, we were in the grip of this pandemic. And as you know, that we were everyone around the globe was taken off guard by a pandemic of this magnitude. And so were we. But then it was the leadership in our department which made the message clear. That, as you know, that J&K police has been at the forefront during any kind of crisis since its inception. And this time it was no different. The leadership sent the message across all the subordinate formations and units that whichever way we can help people, we should be at the forefront. Because the first phase of the lockdown was very strict. And you must have seen even these social groups and non-governmental organizations were not able to operate. Because it was so strict, and we were yet to come to terms with a pandemic of a crisis of this magnitude. And that is when we stepped in. And the first thing that we did, in which my department supported me, that I was Deputy DSP Traffic, and we had around 15 motorcyclists in the traffic unit of Srinagar, who would, in a routine, they would man the traffic on the streets, and they would regulate the traffic on the streets and implement the Motor Vehicle Act. But since there was no traffic on the streets those days, we pumped them into action. We used them for the home delivery of essentials and medicines. And this was not the only support that I got from my department. My department was with me all along. And after this, since things started to worsen, and there was no betterment in the things in the sooner phase of this pandemic. And then we widened the area of operation. First, we used to reach to the destitutes, reach to the needy with medicines, with the food. And after that, we needed the oxygen concentrators, plasma. As I'm telling you, the need of the people widened, and accordingly, we kept responding to it.
Right. Aadil, Jammu and Kashmir Police, in fact, has got the highest gallantry awards that were announced yesterday. And rightly so, because it's one of the most valiant, courageous police force in the country, taking on the terrorists, taking on the enemy. But you know, I was discussing earlier also, courage is not always taking the gun and fighting a terrorist. Courage is also when there is fear all around, when, as you rightly mentioned, it was an unknown entity as to what this virus is. You were there on the road,
Absolutely.
on the ground, taking charge, taking care of things. What were your thoughts? I mean, you did not have fear around in your mind that this virus can come to you as well?
See, in fact, I contracted this virus, not only me, many people from my team contracted virus, but then we were the only hope. The people of this place would look at us as a ray of hope because we were the only people, the health workers, the people from the essential services who were at the front line, they were the only people who were allowed to move. And the only ray of hope for people were we people. So somewhere we had to decide that we had to take it upon our shoulders to do something for the community. And it's not only me, there are many other heroes in my society who have gone an extra mile to do much more than me. And there are even some people, if you see, who have lost their lives in these efforts that they have made.
Right.
So I pay my tribute to them and I salute them and their work.
Right. We are very proud of you, Aadil, and hope you continue with your great work. Thank you so much for joining us.